information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay. And on February 1st, 2002, February 1st, 2000, Pearl was beheaded in Pakistan by Muslim terrorists, in particular, Daniel Jacob Pearl was beheaded by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Muslim terrorists, actually an animal, an Islamic animal. February 1st, 2002. About 8 years later, December 2009, a group of very brave, courageous Americans stood in Lower Manhattan in front of the federal courthouse on a very cold, windy, rainy, snowy December day. I know, I was there, protesting President Obama's desire. He is the President of the United States. Protesting Eric Holder's desire. He is the Attorney General of the United States. A group of several thousand of us stood there in the freezing, rainy, snowy day, protesting this administration's desire to move this animal, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, from the cage he lives in Guantanamo Bay to the confines of the federal prison at 3 years later, on February 1st, 2013, 3 years after the protest of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed being moved from a military base to a federal facility in Manhattan, and the protest was successful. He was not moved, thanks to the courageous stand of many Americans. 3 years later, on February 1st, 2013, the former mayor of that same city, the former very unique mayor of that same city, just 18 days ago, on February 1st, 2013, the former mayor of New York City, Edward Koch, died. He died on the same exact day that Daniel Jacob Pearl was beheaded by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, a Muslim terrorist. In a unique twist of faith, in a unique final message to the world, Edward Koch, a liberal among liberals, a sane liberal as he liked to referred to himself, but someone who understood Islamic jihad as a black and white issue. In an interesting twist of fate, with an eternal message, ironically dying on the same day, February 1st, as Daniel Pearl, Ed Koch was buried where his headstone has a concluding message, the same message, the same words spoken, the last words spoken by Daniel Pearl. My father is Jewish, my mother is Jewish, I am Jewish. Those same words were engraved on the headstone of Mayor Ed Koch. But then under it, Ed Koch wrote that, and we'll get into this in detail in this hour, wrote that everyone should say these words. Every Jew should say these words, and he goes on the tombstone to write that Daniel Pearl, who spoke these words, was killed by a Muslim terrorist. Just the fact that Edward Koch put on his headstone, Daniel Pearl was killed by a Muslim terrorist, is driving the pro-Islamic liberal community crazy in the United States of America. The nerve of this mayor to write such inflaming words, the nerve of this mayor to write this kind of hate speech, the nerve of this mayor. Well, this hour, we want to take a look at Mayor Koch and his clear understanding of Islamic jihad. We want to take a look at Daniel Jacob Pearl and the legacy he has left. We want to take a look at what's going on, particularly in the major cities in the United States, New York being one of them, with the joining of the hardcore left with the Islamic jihadis, the Muslim Brotherhood, and how that unholy alliance is impacting every single person listening and watching to this show. That's in the first hour, the Ed Koch hour. In our second hour, we are privileged to have a dear friend in the studio with us, someone not unfamiliar to Islamic jihad. He's an individual who, in April of 2006, was enjoying his last day of a vacation in Tel Aviv, heading back to Boca Raton, Florida, and had the unfortunate experience. Unfortunate is not a word that begins to describe the horror of the situation. Had the horrible experience of being a victim in a Palestinian suicide bombing at an outdoor cafe in Tel Aviv. And our guest in the second hour, Yucatil Woltz, Tuli Woltz, will share some of that story, and more so share what has been going on in his life since that unfortunate day in April 2006, almost 7 years ago now. And we're going to talk about Tuli Woltz being on the campus of Florida Atlantic University, where over the past 2 weeks, tomorrow night he will be there, over the past 2 weeks we've had the Islamic cultural jihad present, alive, and deadly in many respects on the Florida Atlantic University campus. And for those of you who watch the show and listen regularly, you know we've confronted and had confrontations with them. Well, Tuli is walking into that lion's den tomorrow evening to show a movie, Crossing the Line, about how the intifada on anti-Semitism has come to the university campus. That's our second hour. So we got a pretty wild show, and as we get into Tuli's story, you'll also learn that, sadly, Daniel, Tuli's 16-year-old son, only made the trip one way alive. He did not return alive. He succumbed to his blast injuries. So we'll get into that story also. But good to be here. Tough stuff we're looking at, and I think most of you, we may be having trouble on the video side of things. We're trying to sort that out. That seems to be a regular occurrence nowadays, but we're working on that. But certainly on the radio side, welcome to TrentoVision.tv. On the radio side, WNN 1470 in Boca Raton. We're glad to be here again. Another wonderful day. Beautiful day in Florida. It's 10 or 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Hi, CJ.
Hi, Tom. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing good. Let me see. I'm getting texts. Why
can't I see the show?
Yep, that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
Don't know. We're working on it.
But you can listen to the show.
Yes.
You can listen to it on WNN 1470 AM radio. You can listen to it on iHeartRadio on your smartphone. Correct?
Yeah, tell them how to go there while I tell some people tech problems.
Okay. In your apps store on your phone, you just download iHeartRadio.